Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're talking about apples. Now, I know what you're thinking. Really? A whole video about apples? But trust me, after you see what the science actually says about what happens inside your body when you eat an apple every day, you're going to look at this fruit very differently. You've heard that old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Turns out, that's not just something your grandmother made up. There's actually some mind-blowing research behind it. And today, we're going to break down exactly what happens in your body from the moment you bite into that apple. We're talking cellular level changes, gut bacteria, transformations, and disease prevention mechanisms that honestly shocked me when I first read the studies. So let's dive into the science. Before we get into what apples do to your body, let's talk about what you're actually consuming. When you bite into an apple, you're not just eating some sugar and fiber. You're essentially consuming a pharmaceutical cocktail that nature designed over millions of years. Apples are packed with polyphenols, plant compounds like quercetin, catechin, and chlorogenic acid that act like tiny warriors in your body. Here's something wild. A typical apple contains around 100 million bacteria. Yeah, you heard that right. Most of these bacteria live in the core and seeds, with only about 10 million in the flesh. These are mostly good bacteria, which is one reason why eating the whole apple might be beneficial. The other major player is pectin, a type of soluble fiber that becomes crucial for your gut health. Think of pectin as food for the good bacteria in your intestines. So you've just eaten your apple. What happens in that first hour? Something incredible starts happening in your gut. And recent research has completely changed how we understand this process. Studies show that apple consumption creates a measurable impact on specific bacterial groups in your gut, particularly when you're eating a high-fat diet. Your gut microbiome, that ecosystem of trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, starts shifting its composition almost immediately. The polyphenols and non-digestible fibers escape absorption in your small intestine and make it to your colon, where they become substrates for bacterial fermentation. Your gut bacteria break them down and produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Why should you care about butyrate? Because this molecule is like premium fuel for your colon cells. It reduces inflammation, strengthens your gut barrier, and has even been linked to better mental health through the gut-brain axis. That apple might actually be improving your mood on a biological level. Here's what blew my mind: apple-derived. Pectin has been shown to improve gut barrier function and reduce metabolic endotoxemia in diet-induced obesity. If you're eating a lot of processed foods, the pectin in apples is literally helping to repair the damage to your gut lining. What happens when you eat an apple every day for weeks or months? This is where things get really interesting, especially for your heart and blood vessels. Regular apple consumption has been shown to reduce the risk of atherosclerosis, coronary artery disease, and heart attacks through several mechanisms. Multiple studies in people with high cholesterol show that consuming a few apples a day can reduce total cholesterol levels by about 5% to 8%. That percentage might not sound huge, but in terms of cardiovascular risk reduction, that's actually significant. We're talking about potentially reducing your heart attack risk by double-digit percentages just from eating apples. But it's not just about cholesterol numbers. The polyphenols in apples are reducing oxidative stress in your blood vessels. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming on the inside of your arteries. The antioxidants in apples are like applying a protective coating that prevents this rust from forming. There's also an anti-inflammatory effect happening at the cellular level. The polyphenols improve the function of your endothelial cells. Those are the cells lining your blood vessels that control blood flow and pressure. Here's where it gets counterintuitive. Apples contain sugar, right? About 19 grams per medium apple. So you'd think eating apples might spike your blood sugar and be bad for diabetes risk. But the research shows exactly the opposite. Regular consumption of apples helps reduce the risk of diabetes. How is this possible? Well, when you eat an apple, you're getting natural sugars, plus all that fiber, particularly pectin, which slows down the absorption of those sugars. Instead of a sharp spike in blood glucose like you'd get from a soda, you get a gradual controlled release. But there's more. The polyphenols in apples appear to have a direct effect on glucose metabolism. They can influence how your body processes carbohydrates and may even improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. It's like the apple comes with its own built-in mechanism to prevent the problems its sugar content might otherwise cause. This is why whole fruits are so different from fruit juice or added sugars. You're getting the complete package that nature designed. Now we need to talk about cancer. I want to be clear up front. No food can cure cancer, and apples aren't magic bullets. But the preventive effects are worth discussing. Epidemiological studies have linked apple consumption with reduced risk of some cancers, particularly colorectal, lung, and some forms of breast cancer. The antioxidants neutralize free radicals that can damage DNA and trigger cancerous mutations. Certain compounds in apples may actually influence gene expression related to cell growth and death. The fiber content also plays a role, particularly for colorectal cancer. A healthy gut microbiome, fed by apple fiber, produces metabolites that can suppress tumor formation and reduce inflammation in the colon. Here's something that surprised me. Apples provide anti-asthmatic and anti-allergic effects. Studies have shown beneficial effects on asthma and pulmonary dysfunction from regular apple consumption. The flavonoids in apples appear to protect lung tissue and reduce inflammatory responses that can trigger asthma symptoms. Research has also demonstrated beneficial effects against Alzheimer's disease and cognitive decline. The polyphenols in apples can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and reduce oxidative stress and inflammation that contribute to neurodegeneration. Studies have linked apples to weight management benefits for a few reasons. A medium apple is only about 95 calories, but the combination of fiber, water content, and chewing sends satiety signals to your brain. The pectin literally forms a gel in your stomach that slows digestion and keeps you feeling full longer. Now, here's the practical reality. Not all apples are created equal. Tart apples like Granny Smith's tend to have higher polyphenol content than sweeter varieties. The peel is where most of the beneficial compounds are concentrated, so eat organic when possible or wash conventionally grown apples thoroughly. Eating an apple with a meal, particularly a high-fat meal, can help moderate the glycemic response. Having it as a snack between meals helps with appetite control, and you don't need to eat 5 apples a day. The research suggests benefits from even 1 apple daily. The key is consistency, not quantity. So what really happens to your body when you eat an apple every day? You're feeding 100 million beneficial bacteria that improve your gut health. You're reducing inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. You're providing your body with compounds that may help prevent cancer and cognitive decline. You're supporting your lungs and potentially reducing asthma symptoms. You're managing blood sugar more effectively, despite the natural sugars in the fruit. The science here comes from epidemiological studies and laboratory research, published in peer-reviewed journals, showing consistent patterns across different populations and study designs. Does this mean apples are a miracle cure? No. Do you still need to eat a balanced diet, exercise, manage stress, and see your doctor regularly? Absolutely. But if you're looking for one simple dietary change backed by solid science, adding a daily apple is hard to beat. That old saying about keeping the doctor away? Turns out it's not far from the truth. It's just that the mechanism is way more interesting than anyone realized back when that phrase was coined. Alright, that's it for today. If this video changed how you think about apples, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more science-based nutrition content. And hey, maybe go grab an apple. Your gut bacteria will thank you. See you in the next one.